So here I am again in the studio, almost unchaperoned. So more on that as we go. So I have a 16 by 20 on the easel today. I went ahead and covered it black gesso. I did that yesterday so it would dry overnight. And we're going to start with liquid clear today. So I've got my 2-inch brush. And just pick up a little bit of liquid clear and get this canvas ready. Man, when you use liquid clear, don't use very much. Barely get any on there at all. I've almost got too much. I'm going to wipe out some out of my brush before I spread it around, just so I don't wind up with too much. I kind of like circles, doing liquid clear. You can certainly do crisscross strokes if you prefer. Just going to have it glisten. Don't use nearly as much quantity of paint as if we were using liquid white. And it may take you a few minutes to get this distributed right. It's worth doing, though. Worth doing right. Because if you leave that deep kind of puddle there, I hope you can see that on the video. I'll check for that. Your next layer of paint is heavy enough when you leave it, it's going to sag a little, and you probably don't want that to happen. Change position of your hand. Sometimes I grab the gold collar. I don't like to paint with my hand like that. Normally I push too hard, but putting liquid clear on, it's okay. Now this painting I haven't done in a while, but I've been thinking about it quite a bit. And this one, the inspiration comes from a guy who was a good friend of Bob's and who is still a magnificent artist in his own right, Dana Jester. He did this on, put it in my notes, season 27, episode 10. He called it, actually I don't remember what he called it, but a friend of mine saw it and she said, "Ooh, that painting looks like you're being led out of the woods." And so that's what I've called it ever since. Led out of the woods. Made sense to me. So we'll have some fun. All right, so we've got that pretty well distributed. Now, depending where you paint, a couple of tricks I have found that I like to use just to make sure I've got the right amount of liquid clear on there is certainly the long overlapping horizontal strokes like this, and vertical ones. But depending on the light in the place that you are, you just want to see it shiny. So if you get kind of over to the side and just look, it sort of just gets shiny. So if you see any deep places where you've got too much paint, like maybe right there, just put a paper towel against it, brush it gently on this side. It'll leave just the right amount. See? There we go. So let's get some color on there and get this thing moving. So I'm going to put that brush to the side, start with a fresh, clean 2-inch brush. Now this kind of painting, if you ever paint for friends and family, do this liquid clear step and put this color on. Now I'm putting, it's a mixture of Van Dyke Brown and alizarin crimson, and these will be in the description down below, all the colors and the brushes and all. But do this step first. Get it to this point that we're almost at. So when you start putting light color on here, they don't know that you've already put other paints on here, and they'll just be like, "Oh my gosh, how did you do that?" Well, you can tell them if you want. You don't have to. That's up to your conscience. Now, can you see where you put this paint? Kind of. So I'm just putting some around the side. I'm going to kind of leave this area open in the middle because we're going to make that our brightest and lightest part of our forest. So this is, again, really cool as this one just develops. Now, if you really get too much paint on there, then kind of doink your hand, then you can certainly see where you put the paint. So, but anyway, there we go. That's enough. Get that worked in just a little bit there. There we go. And you can give it some shape if you want to. You don't really have to. Up to you. There we go. So let's give this one some thought. I like to step back and kind of let the canvas decide what it wants to have happen, and then we just kind of go from there. So I'm going to take a 1-inch brush. I'm going to switch to that now. I'm just going to pick up some of a mixture of yellow ochre and titanium white that I made, and this is going to be a lot of paint. This light color going on this black canvas, I want to put a lot of paint here in the middle. So I got a lot of paint on my brush, and we're just going to kind of come up here in the middle and go and just put that light color right there. And now we're just going to work away from it out towards where we put the color. And when I start hitting the color, I'm just going to move because I don't really want a lot of color on my brush. And I don't want to take any color back towards the middle. The middle being the brighter part there. And we're just going to kind of take it. I like to make this kind of an oval shape. I'm going a little bit further because we're going to get this to close in with the forest that we paint around this. You don't know that yet, but I do. So we're just going to kind of put some in like this. There we go. I'm going to put that brush to the side, take another clean brush just so I can kind of blend and soften some of that. I don't want to go crazy on blending this, but I just want to soften some of those sharp edges. We're going to put another layer of just white in the middle there. Let's just soften some of this down real quick, real quick. Dana says on the show that if you wear glasses, this will get blurry and you just feel like you need to put your glasses on. Well, that makes total sense to me, so I appreciate that. But don't overwork this. Don't overwork this. This will be great. Different light things blasting through our woods. Blasting through our woods. Let's see. Yep, let's grab some titanium white and we're going to put that right in the middle of that. Now this white will combine with that yellow quickly, so we got to do this kind of just one time and just be good with whatever we get. So boom, let's hit that and take our cleanest brush. What did I leave myself over here? Not much. Let's take a different 1-inch brush and just soften that. Oh, this is going to be so soft. I just want it to sit down in there. And I might mess it up, so we may turn this into something else. That's okay. Yep, a little heavy-handed there. That's all right. We'll soften this. Just want to take out those deep brush strokes I left. And that'll start looking like something as we get this one rolling. There we go. Now let's get some light out here. Just like it's dancing through our woods over here. And we're going to light a little more over here. Not too much, though. Not too much. I got all the brushes I wanted out over there, but I didn't. Same thing here. Just going to soften this little lighter part just so it absorbs some of the color underneath. I certainly don't want it to be stark white. That's too bright for this woodsy kind of feel. Whew. I don't know if you can hear that through the microphone, but we are having a thunderstorm here in Central Florida. We are in that time of year where it's going to be hot and it may rain or it may not. That's kind of the plan for the day, isn't it? All right, so we've kind of got our light back there. Let's sneak in a few real distant trees. So we're going to take some more of that dark color we were using. Some of that, the brown and crimson mixture. And we'll use the same brush we were before. And let's just kind of, just sort of putting a lot of dark in here. So you can get some good kind of tree branchy shapes. And we're just going to kind of put in a few, because then we're going to start back in there and putting some real distant things away. I just want a few trees in here just to kind of set this outer edge. Just because I haven't decided exactly what we're going to do yet, I don't think. Maybe we'll have a little tree hanging this way too. Don't want to get too close too fast. So let's just kind of think about this for a second. Yeah, I like what's happening there. Cool. So let's take some crimson. I'm going to start with some distant little trees and things off there. In the woods. What color shall we make those? Let's have a little crimson. I've got a little white on this brush, so it'll be a little pink. Pick up a little yellow, a little bit of that brown. I just want to kind of be a quiet but dark enough color to see. So it's a little pinky. Let's just see what we get down here. We'll just see if we like it. I'm just going to put some very faint. Just some very faint. Little bushy layers. Different things over here. Maybe we'll put some on this side too. I don't know if we'll make this a path or maybe have some water. We'll figure that out. It's a great thing about painting. Just decide as we go along. We don't have to decide yet. Don't worry about all that hard stuff. One little step at a time. Canvas will tell you what it wants. Don't you worry about that. A little darker as we get a little layer closer. Don't go crazy. Let's just go one layer at a time. It's fun to go fast. We can do that. Some days I like to get in here and get a painting done in a half hour, maybe not even that amount of time, and other days it takes an hour or two. Don't think it matters. Just start farthest away in your mind and just keep letting it get closer to you. And if you need to work back, just work yourself right back out. That's okay. Always change it. Always change it. You can put some in with a little highlight up top. Kind of sneak in a little layer, getting a kiss of light in there if you need one. Maybe one's coming in down here as well. Just vary them back and forth. Decide where you want a little highlight. I don't know if it's my numbers background or what, but I tend to make the same shape, so I try to stay aware of that. Just something I do. Let's go ahead and put in some actual tree trunks before we go and get too far away. I'm going to just take some titanium white on a fan brush and then some Van Dyke brown, just so I get kind of a tan color. I don't want it to be super, super dark yet. I want to be able to get it darker as we get closer to us, building the forest here. And I don't always do branches like that, kind of setting the top of the forest up front, but it seemed like it was going to help me see where I wanted to go. So let's just kind of put in a distant tree. We're just going to drag in, just bouncing my hand along the canvas. Nothing crazy there. I want it to feel closer to you. Just have this one get taller. So that one, the second one, went off the top of the canvas and just a little bit lower, so it feels a little closer to us. Just if you want to. Now, you may not always see all of a tree trunk. I don't like to make them just all straight up and down. I like to have them a little curve in them here and there. Taking a clean brush and just kind of very lightly, just set that same way you put the brush tree in. Pull this brush the same way, vertically, I mean, either up or down, whichever is more comfortable for you. If you just kiss it, it'll just set that tree back in there just a little bit. Put a few arms on that tree. You can use paint thinner. If you use paint thinner with liquid clear on your canvas, oh, be careful. Please heed this warning. They do not get along. So you must mix them well. If you don't, or when you don't, we all have to learn it. So when you don't have it mixed well and you see what happens, you will have an experience and it'll be good for you. Just going to put a few branches back here on this tree. Nothing crazy. Not going to see a lot of these. We may wind up covering them all up. But if we see any of them, I just want a few. Just a few. Nothing super big or complicated. Like I said, just the idea of a few branches. Get that paint nice and thin for this script liner brush, and boy, you can paint a lot of great branches very, very quickly when your paint is thin enough. Come down here and put a few little twigs and sticks coming out of these flowers, if you like. Because as you use your brush, it's going to take paint off. It's going to naturally get lighter out here near the sun. Just fun stuff. Just adding a few details. Nothing crazy. Right on. Let's move closer. Get a little darker. Let's put in some more tree branches, maybe another big tree. Yeah, let's get some more tree branches going. I'm ready to see where this is ready to take us. So I'm going to darken up our color a little bit. Grab a little bit of midnight black. A little bit more of that brown mixture. Just want this layer to start darkening up some. So I'm going to cover up some of this tree trunk that we did. Some of the top of that one as well. Starting to kind of move forward. And we're going to put a lot of these tree branches on closer trees. So some of these won't make sense for these little trees that we did, but don't let that worry you, okay? I'm going to switch to some different kind of bushes here, I think. Yeah, like that. Really plant the feet of these trees here in our forest. Just using up paint that I've got on my brush here. Give us something to put a few highlights on, maybe. Oh, we can just go crazy. See how fast these things start to develop? Isn't that fun? So let's just put in a few branches coming over this way as well. Oh, those branches kind of look like they go with that tree, don't they? That worked out okay. Love it when that happens. Happy accidents, man. Just enjoy them. A little darker over here. Ooh, little mystery. What do we got going on down here? I don't know. Maybe where the little bunny rabbits hide, doesn't it? I don't know. I don't know. Could be. Put a few highlights. What color are we wanting on highlights? Shall we go a little more yellow? Oh, let's make them a little brighter. More crimson in there. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Just a few. Just a few. Don't overcook the turkey here. Just a few. Let's get a few up there in our canopy of our trees. We gotta have some highlights up there, don't we? I think so. I agree. You can also use a little liquid clear. I'm not as big a fan as making liquid clear to use it as a thinner for making highlights and stuff. That's just my preference. You try a paint thinner. You could use liquid white as well. A lot of choices. A lot of choices. So you decide which branches might be catching some of this cool highlight. For me, I feel like they'd be kind of coming from underneath. So I'm just going to put a few highlights on what feels like kind of the underneath part of some of these branches to me. You don't have to agree with how this feels. That's totally cool. You do it how it makes sense and fits your eye. I would love to see. Isn't that cool? I like how that turned out. That was pretty good. A few little bright highlights underneath. Play with that fan brush. Just turn it different ways in your hand. Get a little different pressure. Oh, you'll see how it changes the dimension on your branches and which belongs where and all those sort of things. Man, it's cool. Very cool. All right, I should take back what I just said about liquid clear, shouldn't I? Because that worked out pretty good. Let's darken that highlight just a whisper. Not too much. Just a little bit of brown, a little bit more crimson. Not quite as much yellow ochre with titanium white there. Just want to start kind of muting that down. If it's not dark enough, I'm going to grab a little bit more brown. because I really want it to be separate. So I really want it to be a different, softer kind of highlight here. That'll be okay. There we go. All right. A few more on there. We'll get a few on the other side. We're going to put in a few more big trees. And man, we are popping right along in this one, aren't we? A lot of times this forest gets very, very dark, and that's okay. Boy, look at that. If you get a nice color, you go working that. Highlight went all the way for us. Cool. Let's get a couple of great big old trees in here and kind of get down here to our foreground all of a sudden. So let's put in a big tree. So tap and crash. I like to just do a tree, great big tree like that. I don't have to slide the brush. Put one on the other side. We'll kind of bookend our cool scene here. This one kind of have a little nyonk, 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 nyonk curve in them, but oh, this is a big old tree. We'll have that one stop right there. Awesome. Okay. Some big old branches going on that dude. Actually, we'll put in the dark stuff we're going to highlight first, and then we'll put on the underneath branches. Yeah, it's okay. We'll have some coming over this way, and some will come right out that way. I don't want to cover up all our highlights back there, so these may not be the biggest foliage having trees ever in existence, and I'm okay with that. Have some of that cover up some of those highlights that we did before, and see how it just pushes those highlighted layers way back in the distance? Oh, that's so cool. Doesn't that make me look smarter and better looking than I already am? It's amazing, I know. Hard to believe, hard to believe. Righto, let's throw some branches in there, get some highlights cooking. You can take these branches from wherever you want. Start up here in the tree and just go up to them. You can have a little pole come off, have one come out from the back of the tree. I'll just play with this any old which way you want to, because you'd see a few of these branches. You wouldn't see them all, though. You don't have to show them all. That's your secret. Let's see what we want. A few of those in there. Right out of here. Maybe you got a crazy little branch just sticking out there wanting some attention. I've been a branch like that. I also like doing little things like that just because I think it's cool to put something sticking out of the tree. Again, just shows another layer of interest. Cool. So let's mix up our highlight color there a little further. Maybe we'll go a little more crimson-y, so we lose a little more light. Back here in the woods, a little more brown, a little more crimson. Let's see what we get here. See if we like this. So, let's see. That's kind of pretty. Kind of a reddish. Don't cover up all your dark on your trees now, because it doesn't all have to be just blasted from the light of the sunshine or whatever's out there, because that could certainly be a cloud in the sky blocking some of that. Oh, anything can be happening. Good stuff. Good stuff. Few little highlights on this one. Put your corner on your brush. Get that fresh side going out there if you want. There we go. Now let's decide what we're doing down here. I think we need to pull in kind of a path or see if it turns into water as we go. So let's just pull some white in there and kind of see what happens, because we've got some brown in here, but not all the way down. So let's just kind of start seeing what this feels like. So that's just some titanium white, and it's going to stay awfully bright here. We'll get some more brown in here. Get some color up underneath some of these. Kind of decide what we're going to do here, huh? Yeah, let's get a little color on that. It's a little too bright there, isn't it? So I'm just grabbing my dirty brush we were doing the branches with, because I know it's got good dark on there. So we can just soften some of that white down. Yeah, let's just make this a path coming out of the woods. Why not? I love this path out of the woods kind of feeling. Doesn't it feel good? Soften some of this down. Cool. Now we'll get some little grassy things off in the distance and be right up here. And these are fun when it just starts happening. I love it. Let's take a little brown and get a little white in there. Sneak a little dirt on the edges of some of our path back there. Decide if we need anything up underneath some of these bushes. So I just got kind of a brown and white mixture, not brown enough for me, on my knife here. Using the small edge of my knife. Boy, I love that small edge of the knife. Just kind of want to darken up some of these edges of this path. Just going to add a layer of contrast, variation, playing back and forth in our little magical creation here. There we go. Just pull in some dark like that. You got a brush that you can reasonably blend that with. You can soften those edges just a bit if you want to. It's a little dark, little thick for you, kind of bold in appearance for your path. I like to do this. It just, to me, kind of settles it down, makes it look older, like it's been there longer, and I like doing that. Put a few, kind of a big bushy thing here at the corner of our path. It feels like we need one to kind of set the direction of this is the way to go over here. So let's kind of give ourselves some kind of a big thing around the base of this tree that'll just tell our passerby, stay to the light side of the path there. And we'll make this one just kind of get scary looking and dark over there. Oh yeah, like that. Maybe a big tree over there? What do you think? Even bigger tree? I hear you. Let's do it. Look at that. Got 3 brushes going in my left hand again. Thought I would hold less by keeping the paint palette on the table next to me. Not so far. Holding even more stuff. Yeah, let's put a giant tree here. Just tap and crash. Let that fan brush just bend in your hand. All those bristles flare out and give you all that great wispy bark. Now look at that. We'll just pull this tree right down in front there. Is there one on the other side? I'm not sure if there is, but this one's got a big old arm that goes off that way, doesn't it? Look at that. Right over that light. Isn't that cool? Let's have another one go this way. I told you it was a big tree, didn't I? We'll give that some stronger arms in just a second. Good fun. Maybe not another one on that side. I don't know. All right, I'm going to put down on many of those brushes. Righto. A few branches going. Like I said, don't forget to have some of your branches cross as you pull them out from the tree. That really helps. Just add layers of depth. Layers of depth. When you can't tell, looking up the canopy of a forest, which branch belongs to which tree, that's what we're going for. Always need tons of them. Look at that, going across that other tree trunk. Oh, it's worth its weight in gold for you. Let's get a little highlight on that. I feel like we'd have some pretty highlight there on this tree. So let's get a little yellow ochre and white mixed. I've already got it mixed here on the palette, so let's just use some of it. Just put in a little. I'm going to tap this a couple of times to kind of blend it, because I don't want it to be too bright, but I do want it to have some cool catching, some zinging light through these woods. Just feels like that time of day. Don't overdo this. It's easy to. Gently touch it. Don't slide. Don't slide. All right, let's get some highlights down there. We'll do some more bushes, and we're going to get this one kind of finished up. This is exciting, man. I love it when it comes to the home stretch, and then poof, we're almost at the finish line all of a sudden like that, huh? How about some really pretty bright, use some of that pinkish color from the crimson, gold from some of that ochre. Let's put a little pop right there on the corner and see if we like it. We'll kind of pull it up. They wouldn't be as robustly lit down here. So there. We'll kind of darken that up a little bit. Be careful with any paint thinner and a 1-inch brush going anywhere near your canvas like this. The first time you get paint thinner and liquid clear to not like each other, funny words will jump out of your mouth. It is kind of funny. You may not recognize some of them. Depending on who you hang out with, you may hear those words all the time. So just consider that. So we're just pulling a little light around this corner. See how that works? By putting a little bright there, sometimes you just make it dark over there. Sometimes I like to make it look a little brighter. So that works for me. All right, let's get something along the foots there. Oh, what are we going to make? Make a little kind of grassy looking, a little goldy ground cover something. I don't know, just something out there on the edge of our path. Just doing a little something for fun. Just a little grassy thing here and there, just to kind of connect our little woodsy something here. We just need a little something. Just kind of plants that back part of the path. I normally wouldn't go back into the painting like that. Don't like doing that, but sometimes it needs it, so that's what you got to do. Let's get a little more highlight back here, a little more ground cover stuff, just to put in sneak in a little layer back there behind our tree. I do like this being lighter. A lot of these wood scenes I've done are oh so dark, and I do enjoy that as well. Boy, these lighter ones may just make me happy. That'd be a good thing, I'd say, huh? Ooh, I like that. I like where we're going here. Who knows? Maybe we do. Do we fall into a pond right here? Sure, why not? Why don't we have a pond right here? Let's do that. Who doesn't want a pond? That's not somebody we're going to invite to the party now, is it? Well, they can come. They just can't say bad things. I'm going to take a little bit of white. It's not going to take much. I'm going to start with just a little. And let's just say our pond just all of a sudden starts here at our edge of our path. Cool. We'll have a little more reflection out this way. A little less coming this way, but we'll still have some, huh? Straight down on that reflection. Straight down, straight down, straight down. If we don't like any of it, we'll cover it up, so don't worry about that. Now that we've straight downed it, straight across. Oh, so gently. Careful, your white is opaque, means you can't see through it. So if you go too heavy-handed, you're just going to paint your black canvas white. There we go. Ever so gently. We'll bring something down to the edge. You know, every time I decide to do water like this, it makes me think of quicksand in the old Lone Ranger Saturday morning show. Because as a kid, I thought we would be running into quicksand a whole lot more frequently than we do. In fact, I've never run into quicksand in my life. So, boy, I sure thought it was going to be almost a daily challenge. Crazy, crazy kids, huh? We'll just pull a little edge down on top of our water. Who knows? Maybe our woods had a little rain like we're having. And we just got some, kind of a low point of the forest here. Who knows? Why not? Just put a little edge around it. A little highlight kiss on there. Just to make it look a little sandy. Getting a little shine of the sunrise or sunset. I don't know what time of day it is. Does it matter? No. I guess it does. If it matters to you, it doesn't matter so much in my humble opinion. But we got a little gold kiss on the water. Why not? Be careful. Just do a little. Don't overdo. Don't overdo. All right, let's have a little something growing down there by the edge. Let's use our friend the dark brush, dark on our brush, and we're going to kind of push in some little grassy things. Just kind of give us a little bit of a edge to our low area here. Don't forget, start further away and work towards you. There we go. Let's put a few highlights on there. Put a few brushes down. Golly, I've done it again. Let's reset a brush here. Kind of pick a color and maybe we'll leave that tree dead. I kind of like that with no foliage on it. That's just kind of fun. I think we need something here though. Maybe there'll be a big old tree branch there. We'll see in a second. It's going to be pretty bright down there, but nothing crazy. Let's kind of just have a different redder, crimsonier. Probably turn out a little pinker, and I'm okay with that. I do like that color when it's used in moderation. Yeah, just have some pretty little firecrackery pink bushes right here by our little water area. How about that? Look at that. How far that one little load of paint let us go. Let's just kind of reload. Maybe we'll do one more row in front of that and a little something in the water. I like that softer color. That's nice. Let's put some of that down. Sneaky, isn't it? You're being a little cheeky. You're being cheeky. This is so sneaky. Don't you go crazy. Too late. I'm already crazy. Clean brush, clean brush, clean brush. Oh, you got to be gentle. Gentle, yet fast is my advice to you to get that reflection to work. Try to go too slow. So seldom have I seen people be delicate enough with a slow hand. There we go. Let's put a little something on the ground floor in front of these, just to kind of tuck some of this edge back in there. Some of that wouldn't be quite so visible, I don't think. So just a few dark on this side of that is good with me, just to kind of add a little layer of something closing us out. Let's take a look from back here, see what happens. I still think we need a tree branch over there. I like that reflection on the ground though. With the low part, do you like that? What do you think? Good? I am curious because people ask me all the time if I have a painting. Sometimes I do. Like I mentioned this one, you know, Dana painted on Bob's show on PBS years ago, and I love using that for inspiration. Now, if you hung these up next to each other, what I started with in my head and where we wound up with, I'm not even sure you'd say these are related. I think that's okay. I think that's the point. I like to just go, see what happens. Now, certainly sometimes I have a reference in mind if I'm practicing for a class that I'm going to teach, or, well, that kind of makes sense, I think. Oh, that's all. Too much. I almost showed you that sometimes funny words will jump out of your face if you're not paying attention. All right, let's not, I don't think we need much more water line than that. This is a quiet little runoff area here in our woods. All right, let's get that branch in there. I'm excited about it. Yeah, doesn't it feel like one of these big old branches would just be like rah, hanging in there? Maybe you don't hear it, but I thought I heard it. A big branch, put me right there. Got it, heard it, saw it. So how do you want it to be? Do you want it to just be like this way? That's kind of cool. How about if it's got a little friend just like that? So this is a powerful tree we're dealing with. See, I just thought it needed something. That was for me. If yours doesn't need that, guess what? Don't put it in yours. Don't have to. We can put a little highlight on that one if we want to. Might as well. Why wouldn't we? We just put a little pretty color on there. I don't think we need any, I don't want any leaves on that one either. I like what we got with our leaf-free zone on these kind of big looking gnarly trees. And we'll just kind of, just same way you put the tree in, it'll just work as bark for you. Just putting a little, catching a little on that underside of that log a little bit. Tap it in just so it's not quite so bright. Gentle here, gentle. I know I'm going fast there. And let's sign that thing and be done, huh? What do you think? I like this one. Good fun. Righto. Sign for me is a little paint thinner, using Bob's bright red almost all the time. I do mix it up every now and then on what color I'll sign with. Same thing here. Paint thinner, a little bit of paint, nice and thin. I just sign my initials, D for Dan, A's for Andrew, and W for Willcox. You can check to see if this painting is still available. There's probably going to be a link or a way to do that in the instructions. If you got questions, drop it in comments. I'd love to see your version of something like this or whatever you're working on. Till next time, progress, not perfection. I love you.